I want to see would she eat the cops too? Why you left, knife?
I'm so scared. Granny, please.
Boy. Where did you go?
Oh, God.
You
Do that see me?
your leg.
Do that see me, Jiggly?
Like a meaty butt cheek, perhaps?
Do that see me, Jiggly?
I don't know exactly where you are.
Where am I?
They had to freaking jump. I thought he killed that other dude up there. I gotta do something real quick anyway.
Oh my God. What?
And that hits you?
Oh, grandmother. Please. Please, I'm your grandson. You said I'm your favorite.
You little bastard!
Oh, get out of here. Oh my God, this is so creepy.
You want to do that kick move again? Do that kick move again? No, push on, then do it.
Where's my little grandson? Oh, God.
Oh. Trying to see under rocks.
Hello?
No, please. Oh, you don't see me outside that window, Granny. Oh my God.
Look at my leg. What the fuck is my leg doing?
You're doing the stanky leg. Oh, grandmother, I have to put you down.
Marguerite! Marguerite!
Come on.
Where am I?
The cops are coming now.
Oh!
What? You're in the bedroom.
Oh!
What the fuck is...
I'm stuck! Go downstairs!
Why? I'm coming.
I believe I'm stuck to the ceiling. I can't get up.
I don't see you in the ceiling. I found a red key though, and I don't know what it's for.
Where you at, cops?
Oh, you gonna take on the police? I'm going to help. Help me! No, 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 no! Granny, please! Granny, please! I'm your only grandson. I'm the last of your bloodline, grandmother.
Where are the fucking police?
Right out front. Why you come meet them, grandmother?
Okay. Is this the front?
Yes, it is! Please help me out with this! She's right there!
No! Holy shit, they're shooting!
Yes! Wow! Make sure she's dead!
They got superpowers. You already watched that one.
I'm a girl, what the fuck?
I don't believe it! I can see super fog with these things.
Hi everyone. Due to some circumstances, I'm going to be the voice in today's video. Thanks for your understanding. At least once in a lifetime, everyone finds themselves in a completely ridiculous situation. Moments when you were so close to success, but bad luck crosses your path, and at the last moment, alas. This is quite common in theater or on sports fields. After all, hundreds or even thousands of spectators will witness and maybe even film your failure. Today, we're going to talk about bad luck in sports. Let's get it on. Sometimes uncomfortable situations are caused by the athletes themselves.
Yeah,
Other
so
times it's
bad.
due to certain external factors. In this case, the Irish Angus Melvin lost the 800-meter race at the Irish University Indoor Championship. The reason for this was a rubber band that accidentally flew out from a pole vault event.
TCU in second. Paul Pepper is second at four. Oh my God, they're gonna cheer him up. We have bloody Paul on this.
The athlete was ahead for most of the race, but the piece of band wrapped around his leg near the finish line. Fortunately, it was only the semifinal, and Melvin moved on to the next round of the competition and didn't take it too seriously. But the funniest thing in this situation was the reaction of the commentator, who was more surprised than the runner himself.
Spider-Man attacked him. Y'all wanna hear my song?
For many, Patrick Steffen is the author of the most epic fail in NHL history. But not because he's a bad athlete. He was seen as a world-class player with a great future. Steffen was considered one of the most promising hockey players in the world and was #1 overall pick in the NHL draft in 1999. But turned out he wasn't as great as the coaches and fans believed him to be. In 2007, he made an incredibly and utterly absurd mistake that ruined his career. Steffen approached the empty goal of the opposing team and had the opportunity to send the puck directly into the net. That would have been his second goal and the chance to become the best player of the match. But Steffen failed.
Steffen steals and he likes it. Oh, at least I thought he was gonna until he blew.
Everyone was surprised, even the player, who ended up falling on the ice. To top it all off, the rivals recovered the puck and in a couple of seconds scored a goal on Steffen's team.
Hensky's loose. Hensky, he scored.
Pool players also fail sometimes, and their mistakes can be so extraordinary that we even feel sorry for the player in the video. It would seem that a slight stroke would be enough to put the 8-ball in the hole. Looks like the player did a perfect job, but only for a moment, because the ball immediately jumped back. Some experts say that the player is to blame because he didn't plan well and hit the ball too hard. But for those of us who don't know much about pool, this failed stroke is one of the most unfortunate in history. During a Diamond League race, Kenyan athlete Job Kinyor failed epically. 800 meters is a rather treacherous distance because of its length. You can easily confuse an unexperienced athlete, and that's exactly what happened. At the beginning of the race, Kinyor set such an incredible pace that he was well ahead of all the other runners. He probably believed he could beat his opponents without much effort since they were far behind him. But the effort made at the start of the race marked the difference at the end. In the last 100 meters, the Kenyan runner suddenly lost the lead and could not keep up anymore, while his rivals saved their strength for the end.
Winning time 1:45.98. Taken by surprise, the race was a mess, Tim.
It's a shame. Do you think that Patrick Steffen, who couldn't hit the puck into the empty goal, is the only unlucky athlete in the world? No way. During a Serbian 4th Division match, a player whose name we haven't been able to find out also managed to fail just a few inches from the open goal. Taking advantage of the defender's and goalkeeper's mistake, the player seized the ball, ran towards the goal, and when he was a couple of inches away, he kicked the ball over the bar. By the way, note the reaction of his teammate. The audience probably felt the same. Sometimes players put on a whole show before scoring a goal and get some instant karma. Soccer players are no exception. That's exactly what happened to Mario Balotelli when he was playing for Manchester City. In a friendly game against Los Angeles Galaxy, Balotelli blew his chance to score by wanting to show off in front of the crowd and his opponents. All he had to do was kick the ball and it would have been a perfect goal. But instead, the player decided to take a one-on-one opportunity with a back heel trick, of course with his back to the net.
Looks set to come out. Are you kidding me?
The result was disappointing. The ball slowly left the pitch, and you can imagine the coach's reaction. The next minute, Balotelli was substituted for James Miller. What can we say? It was definitely the player's fault. Scoring a goal from the other side of the hockey rink is a great achievement for any player. It would definitely be in the news or making but in this case, the big goal never happened because Eric Johnson got in his way. Eric Johnson and his fantastic speed. Eric Johnson and his luck. Eric Johnson saving his team in the last second. For someone, this moment was very unfortunate, but on the other hand, it can be considered one of the most spectacular defense moves in the history of hockey.
I know he bad. Turn around. Miss. I mean, it's
In
going to be like, I'm about to
competitions,
take
when
ya.
athletes need to run or ride a certain number of laps, they often make the same mistakes. They simply lose counts and You know how it ends. That's what happened at the Italian Motorcycle Championship. Ricardo Russo failed to count the number of laps and started celebrating victory one lap earlier, while his opponents continued to race.
Across the line here, you'll see that Russo and Tino also just gapping Nacho for the time being. We're on the final lap. And now he's punching the air, he's celebrating, I think, and I think this race is still going.
Israeli athlete Lona Salpeter made a similar mistake in the 5,000 meter race during the European Athletics Championships. The athlete was in second place, and suddenly she decided that the race was over, and she stopped. Although there was one lap to go, the audience tried to make her keep going, but when Salpeter realized her misjudgment, she rushed on, but her rivals managed to overtake her, and in the end, she finished fourth, losing almost 4 seconds to the third place. But despite the misfortune, Lona broke Israel's record for this distance by 16 seconds. However, an hour later, after studying the videos, the judges ruled that the athlete had gone off the track and canceled her result. So she ended up without a medal and without a record.
Too hard here. Second and final lap to go. Salpeter boxing finish. Oh, what a mistake. Chimtai Salpeter. A smile, a rueful smile on her face.
Generally, even before the race starts, it is more or less clear which athletes are the leaders and which ones are going to go home empty-handed. Normally, a few athletes compete for the medal, while the rest, where are they? Nobody watches them, but people should, because some athletes can reach the speed of light at the last moment. What was that? In the end, she snatched victory from the race leaders.
Pow.
No, seriously, how did she do it? Do you find golf boring? You probably think it's a sport where nothing happens, or maybe it's just an entertainment for the elderly.
That boy ran.
Well, we're gonna prove you wrong
that's
and show
what
you
ran.
that golf
She like
also
this.
has moments
That
of
first
terrible
she ran like
luck
this.
that just
And
make you
she
lose
said,
your
I'm
nerve.
losing my
For
shoes.
example,
She
in the
said,
final round
my
of the
mom
Byron
said.
Nelson tournament in 2014,
And she said,
experienced golfer
start
Greg
looking at her,
Harrington
right?
had an
Did you see?
unexpected issue.
She got all in front of everybody.
Check this one out.
And
He sent the ball right into the hole with a beautiful stroke. The ball hit the target, but then it jumped out and rolled off. If you listen carefully, you can even hear the characteristic sounds. Anyway, Harrington had to make another shot to finish what he had started. Rules are rules, and the wins of the balls are not part of them. Another well-known golfer, Matthew Southgate, also had problems trying to get the ball into the hole. But this time, it was nature that decided to stand in the way. We're not kidding. Look, at the last moment, the wind suddenly moves a leaf, preventing the ball from entering the hole. Apparently, Matthew upset some Disney princess. As you can see, even golf can be full of emotions. All this professional golfer had to do was put the ball in the hole, but he was clearly not having a good day. Maybe the stars didn't align, maybe the wind blew in the wrong direction, or maybe the athlete ate something bad. Anyway, the distance was so short that even a rookie could have done this. Even a person who doesn't know anything about golf could have put the ball in the hole. What a shame, just a little more. Most silly situations in sport have something to do with people starting to celebrate too soon. Like, for example, in this basketball game, the team scores in the last seconds, the crowd cheers up, the players hug each other, but the celebration stops when the judges review the video. Did you see that? The time was up when the ball came out of his hands, so the last shot doesn't count. And finally, another example of terrible luck caused by technology. Bowler Troy Walker was about to score 300 points and probably would have done it if it hadn't been for the pin setter that puts the pins in the right place.
Oh my God.
At the last moment, all of a sudden, the mechanism blocked the pins, and a fantastic shot was ruined. Walker tried again, because it had been a mechanical error, but left 3 pins standing. So he ended up with a total of 297 points. In the end, the bowler confessed that he was probably partly to blame for the incident. The bowler pressed the reset button for the lane next to him, but instead, his lane was reset, and victory was so close.
Dude, are you looking for new technologies and great gadgets? Are your thoughts focused on the future? Do you love huge vehicles and can't imagine your life without robots around you? Then visit TechZone and you'll find all this and more. The link is in the description.
It's definitely
It's about nice. He kicked it. He started back and said, good day, girl.
Wait, I'm gonna mute you there. Ah, you tell me now.
Okay, I'm gonna use your bed real quick. Is that mine with you?
We back.
Yeah, I can hear everything you said. I can hear everything you said, stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, like, now you, I mean,
Hold on, Naya.
Wait, sorry to wake you up.
They ain't say your name, fuck me.
Naya. Come on now. I know you hear it. You get the all the time.
Short song.
So Naya.
Pick it back up.
Come get his ball.
Nuh-uh. I was trying to pick my short song. He's sleeping. Lay him down. Ain't got him up to it.
Hi everyone. Smuggling illegal goods across the border is quite a risky endeavour, which however could make the perpetrators very rich. Smugglers come up with all kinds of tricks to fool the customs officers, and sometimes these tricks might seem insane, sometimes
I'm asking her now, she told the, like, she's doing way too much.
Definitely worth seeing. Today we will tell you about the most ingenious ideas that the smugglers have come up with to get their illegal haul across the border. Let's get it on.
Yes or no?
Cigarettes in tree trunks. Sometimes you just don't expect to find something inside certain things. It's easy to suspect someone hiding illegal stuff inside the mobile phone, clothes, a box of chocolates, or in a loaf of bread. But definitely not in tree trunks, because these huge raw pieces of wood won't be of any use to smugglers. But sometimes smugglers might surprise you with their ingenuity. During the customs check, the officers found 25,000 packets of cigarettes hidden inside 27 tons of timber, with 55 hollowed-out tree trunks. The cigarettes were smuggled together with legal goods on a train, and we can't even imagine how the officers managed to uncover this haul in this huge amount of wood. The way the smugglers hid the cigarettes is very clever too. They followed a huge trunk and replaced the ends to cover up. Despite their resourcefulness and ingenuity, their unusual tobacco patch trunks still didn't make it across the border.
Don't say my name either.
Gold in a shirt. Sometimes smugglers come up with such incredible tricks. One has to wonder how the customs officers could uncover their fraud. This man was trying to smuggle gold across the border by stitching the small gold pellets into his shirt. He and his accomplices were detained in Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport, the largest and most prominent international airport in Bangladesh. The other smuggler was also hiding gold in his shirt. He also put some in his shoes. In total, the customs officers confiscated 2.5 kilograms of pure gold from the smugglers. We believe this gold is worth a lot of money. Just take a look at those poor smugglers. Tough luck, to say the least. A model family. When you look at this family with 3 kids, you could never think that these people could be smugglers. They have a nice car, they look decent, they're definitely above all suspicion. But it's not so easy to fool the customs officers, because even a few scratches on the car might look suspicious enough to justify a detailed examination. Of course, some may think that the officers are a bit overzealous, but this time they turned out to be right.
What?
Yes, they had to literally break the car to pieces to prove it, and it'd be very awkward if they
I
didn't
got
find
something,
anything.
AJ.
But they did, and their hunch was right. Turned out this seemingly ordinary family
Yeah, I
was
got something to
smuggling
say.
packets of cash.
Yeah, these are hundreds.
I was in this with you.
26 packages.
Drone smugglers. Technology is evolving, and smugglers are trying to keep up, using modern gadgets for their fraudulent actions.
No, but no, for real, don't judge. She did just say. I
For
was
example,
listening to
prison
about
service
that.
found it really challenging to stop drones from smuggling all kinds of stuff, weapons, mobile phones, and tools into the prison. Drones are easy to operate and relatively cheap. It's hard to catch them too, because unlike humans, they can just fly away at any time. It's also hard to identify the person controlling the drone. For example, the first person in the UK to be jailed for this offence was detained only in 2016. To deal with this airborne smuggling, special anti-drone units were created in England and Wales. Also, there are now special anti-drone
Now, why you always
fences
playing?
that are installed around the entire prison perimeter. The system creates a shield around the prison, which deflects the drones and disrupts the connection between the drone and the operator at an altitude of up to 600 meters. Reptiles on the body. There is a strong demand for exotic pets in any country of the world. People smuggle them from all kinds of places.
No, but for real,
Customs officers are trying
you
to
need to get
prevent
this out of
that.
this
Once,
jet.
the Norwegian officers detained a man who was attempting to smuggle
when I catch
14
him,
pythons and 10 geckos across the border. The pythons were rolled up in socks and taped to his torso. The geckos were also in little boxes strapped to his legs. Smugglers are very resourceful people after all. The man was searched after officers spotted a tarantula scurrying around in one of his bags. Perhaps this spider was part of the illegal cargo, hidden in a very intimate part of the body. Or maybe he was like a niffler, who was always trying to escape at the worst possible time. Whatever the case, the smuggler was arrested, and the animals were handed over to the specialists. The Shawshank Redemption. This story isn't exactly about smuggling, because these people weren't trying to cross the border, but it's so amazing that we just simply have to tell it. The police of Chetumal City in Mexico detained Maria del Mar Arjona for trying to sneak her lover Juan Ramirez Tijerina out of jail in a suitcase. It happened in 2011, but it's still one of the most ridiculous jailbreak attempts in modern history. In 2007, Ramirez was sentenced to 20 years in prison for illegal weapons possession. His girlfriend had little patience to wait so long, and so she found a good use for a suitcase. However, vigilant security officers the plan. They noticed an unusual shape of the suitcase, and checked it and discovered a convict squashed inside. The woman gave herself away by acting nervously. The suitcase itself seemed to be too large as well. When the prison guards opened the bag, they found the inmate Juan Ramirez Tijerina curled up inside in the fetal position. The guards made a photo, and it seems like the unlucky fugitive was really upset. Maria herself was then arrested and is now awaiting charges, and Ramirez went back to jail. A man inside a car seat. Another mind-blowing story happened in 2001 at the border between the US and Mexico. A 42-year-old Mexican, Enrique Aguilar Canchola, attempted to illegally enter the US by disguising himself as a car seat. A brilliant idea. Just kidding, never try something like that. But we have to give it to Enrique. He was really creative about this. One of the passenger seats inside the vehicle was hollowed out. Enrique installed a special frame to hide inside it. The seat didn't look suspicious at all.
You bringing anything back into the United States, sir?
Well, it did grunt when someone tried to sit on it. We can only admire his dedication, because he probably had to remain still in an uncomfortable position for many hours, with little access to air as well. Unfortunately, all his efforts were in vain, because Canchola was stopped at San Isidro, a Californian border crossing, which at the time was one of the busiest border crossings. 94 iPhones. A man has been arrested at a Chinese border and to enter China with 94 iPhones. The officers must have been pretty surprised to see so many phones. The smuggler probably wanted to sell a range of Apple products in China, including the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, which at the time were the latest models. The police noticed this particular smuggler due to weird walking posture, joint stiffness and muscle tension, an obvious result of covering your entire body in touchscreens. The vigilant officers decided to check his hand luggage too, but nothing suspicious was in there. But when he passed through the metal detector, it was clear he had something to hide. As soon as he took off his clothes, the officers saw the phone strapped to his body, to his thighs, his chest and his stomach. According to the customs officers, smuggling is common for stolen phones. The phones strapped to the body sometimes resemble body armor.
What
and
you
this
talking
kind of
about?
smuggling is actually called a body armor. Hummingbirds in pants. No,
Yeah,
it's
look.
not the name of a
I'm finna
sitcom
follow
from the
now,
early
alright?
2000s. Yes, it also looks as ridiculous as it sounds, but it's still a real story. Which happened in Rochefort Airport in Cayenne, French Guiana. This man was probably inspired by the smuggler who strapped boxes with lizards to his legs. He decided to take it one step further though and smuggle more
She
than
said, "Come picture so pretty, girl. You was ugly."
The authorities noticed this man acting suspiciously, and he was detained by French customs officers. We couldn't figure out what was so suspicious about his behavior.
Damn,
So you
bald
can imagine
eagle.
yourself how a man with live birds in his underwear would act. During the inspection, the officers discovered that the birds were put in special pouches sewn into the inside of the man's underwear. The birds were individually wrapped in cloth and taped up to prevent them from escaping. The man reportedly has a previous conviction for trying to smuggle the tiny animals across the border. A truckload
She in the Fortnite battle.
in Brownsville, Texas, stolen cars
Oh,
are
she
often
was
used to
Jeremiah.
smuggle illegal goods across the border. In order to uncover them, special units
Oh, she
are
created a
used
party.
to find these soon-to-be exported vehicles. One of the cars had signs of tampering though. The tailgate was welded shut.
Oh,
which
this
seemed
is-
odd. Who welds the gates anyway? In addition to that, the officers spotted several screws that were inconsistent with the bedliner. It was an old model that was smuggling. The age of the model doesn't matter. Anything goes for smuggling drugs, weapons and money. To make sure that the car is used for smuggling, the officers dogs and several firearms and many rounds of ammunition in the false bottom of the pickup. A good catch. Dude, are you looking for new technologies and great gadgets? Are your thoughts focused on the future? Do you love huge vehicles and can't imagine your life without robots around you? Then visit TechZone and you'll find all this and more. The link is in the description. You interested? Great.
You know my oh yeah. It's O. It's O.
No.
Give my controller back.
That's a controller.
One of the great staples of a classic adventure film. Not only are they fascinating to watch on the big screen, they're also
Why can't you find it with nobody?
stretching the limits of human imagination. Coming up are 10 of the most elaborate booby traps ever created. Let's just hope you never find yourself in any of these. Babylon. During the Middle Ages in Southeast Asia, there was an empire known as the Khmer Empire, located in what is today Cambodia. The Khmer people were deeply religious, whilst there were some Buddhists, most of them leading them at the time. And as a result, they took their gods very seriously. That's why when the Babylon temple was constructed in the mid-11th century to honor Shiva, the god of destruction, the builders made sure to install a booby trap in case anyone decided to mess with it. As the god of destruction, I'm sure that Shiva would be proud of this one. A few hundred years later, when a group of Buddhists were in the place of a Buddhist temple, They were in for a nasty surprise. You see, the temple was created with a hollow layer inside. First, they built a pocket using laterite, which was then covered in black sandstone to both reinforce and decorate it. The interior area that was created was then filled with sand, so replacing the altar with a statue of the
Hold on,
god
y'all.
wasn't as easy as they hoped, as they started removing the stones of the wall to be repurposed to make a human statue.
Let's see
This
something.
all sand stones were holding back, completely demolishing the statue they were building, and most of the temple itself in the process. The work was never completed. However, in 1960, it was partially reassembled and reinforced with metal throughout. The half-finished Buddha is only barely distinguishable. Just goes to show there's some truth to that classic movie trope of a temple that dramatically collapses when desecrated. Number 9, Lee Rodfeld's house. From a temple in the Middle Ages to a house in 2018. It turns out you don't need to travel to Africa or Asia to find some impressive booby traps, as this next one's in Oregon. Let's just say 60
So she gonna come up on the ground and then she gonna post it on YouTube. She posted that on YouTube. I ain't even posted. I remember Nello and Jeremiah was fighting. I mean, AJ and Jeremiah and AJ was fighting. Tell me why I cannot find the video again. It's on YouTube somewhere, but I don't know what it was called. Of what? They didn't get your ugly ass up on my bed.
At the bottom of the property, they found 2 entrance gates. One blocked by a minivan, forcing them to enter through the other gate. The bomb squad noticed a wire attached to the gate.
Yeah, I'ma join that.
Hot tub on its side at the top of the driveway and perched it against the shim that was holding it back. As the gate opened, the wire would have pulled the shim away and sent the hot tub hurtling towards them, similar to the classic boulder scene in Indiana Jones. But that wasn't all. They found the makings of another improvised device, a mousetrap with a shotgun shell. The idea was the trap would have been set off as the garage door was opened, possibly using string, so the bar of the trap would strike the shell primer, discharging the shot shell. Elsewhere in the property, Gregory rigged a wheelchair to a shotgun shell, positioned with a pipe and a piece of wood triggered with a rat trap. When agents went to the house and moved the chair, boom! The explosion shot a pellet into the leg of one of the FBI agents. Luckily, he went to the hospital and recovered. Gregory was found guilty of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and was now a mounting list of criminal charges. When asked about any other booby traps in the house, Rodfeld's response was, "I would not race right in. I take it someone doesn't want the house to sell for much money." Number 8, cemetery gun. From the early 1700s to the 1900s, grave robbing was very common. The robbers would sell the bodies to universities who wouldn't question where they came from and would pay anything. After all, they could easily make the money back from selling tickets to a dissection of the body. Many families weren't too keen on the idea of their loved ones being stolen. The cemetery gun is graves. And the reason I say hire instead of buy is that it's only needed for a couple of weeks. After that, the body is too rotten for anyone to want to dissect. The barrel would be facing the body's head, and the gun would be filled with any number of projectiles, from rock to buckshot. As you can see from this picture, at the foot of the gun was two brick wires laid out in straight lines across the grave in an arc formation. When the robbers went to the graveyard, it would be too dark for them to see, and they would end up stumbling over one of the wires, pulling it. This would cause the gun to swivel around to the direction of the wire, pull the trigger, and shoot the criminal. Unfortunately, though, this didn't stop grave robbing. It merely ensued that only 4 people's bodies were stolen. Number 7, screwworm fly. Let's talk about reproduction. And I know what you're thinking. What on earth does it have to do with booby traps? Well, nothing, unless you happen to be a screwworm fly. The screwworm fly is a horrible animal that lays its eggs inside the cuts and wounds of animals, and sometimes even humans. It has been responsible for many farmers losing thousands of dollars from the death of their livestock. Whilst they were eradicated in the United States in 1980, efforts are now being made to continue their eradication across the globe. Whilst the most popular method is to sterilize the males and release them back into the wild where they will fail to reproduce, other methods have been tested over the course of time. Believe it or not, there is actually a special poison made from a chemical called the eldrin, and this chemical is safe, in small doses at least, for the female screwworm fly, but not the male. To make their trap, scientists covered the females with a small amount of the eldrin, which meant when the flies tried to get down and dirty, they'd end up in screwworm fly heaven, if such a place exists. Some of you might be thinking, that's not a booby trap. But it is. The The definition of a booby trap is a device or setup that is intended to kill, harm, or surprise a person or animal unknowingly triggered by the presence or actions of the victim. And that is exactly what the screwworm fly trap is. The male fly, unbeknown to him, gets killed when he mates with a female. The plan was that every female fly with poison on her thorax would be able to wipe out 100 males. And it worked. It might sound bad, but remember, they lay eggs inside cuts. Number 6, Nazi picture bombs. When they weren't coming up with ridiculous theories to justify discrimination, the Nazis were creating ever more ingenious weapons. Booby traps are the perfect so, well, of course, the Germans defined modern booby trapping techniques. After all, early deficiencies in explosives
I had joined. Now you gotta, now you gotta party right open. No, she up to something. Who listens to my song? And I'm gonna take it to the bed. I'm gonna go deep, 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 go deeper than your own head. Who playing my song, bro?
No, this is my song.
That's my song.
I've been listening to this way before.
No, you wouldn't. I've been listening to that song ever since they made that challenge, and that's been about like.
I listened to that song when they made that challenge, when they first made that challenge. I was doing that kind of.
Jay, was I in the party?
I've been listening to the song saying loud.
You hear me, Jay?
Then they came out with a come on. Yeah, I've been listening to that.
Why the fuck would you just scare me like that? Me, come on, let her go. Hold out. Why the fuck would you just scare me like that? Me, come on.
Why you ain't playing this game?
Hey, can people see private parties that you in? Give me your time.
Like clay and coconut fibers. The experts agree it's man-made. Almost 100 feet down, they found a stone slab which held markings in an unknown language. The next day, the shaft flooded with 60 feet of water. And this is why it's so hard to excavate. 200 years after its initial discovery, numerous treasure hunters have tried and failed.
Well, you just start playing it, because I was... Oh, somebody doing that party, Jay.
No one knows what's down there, and numerous people have died trying to find out. Every treasure captive kid, a pirate from the late 1600s, was leading to a big misfortune on an island somewhere east of Boston. The problem is, it's an elaborate booby trap of sorts. About 100 feet down, there's a large flood tunnel that connects to the box springs, which pour water into the pit. The only thing stopping the water from filling it up are the oak platforms that occur every 30 feet or so. When the treasure hunters break through one particular block of oak, the pit fills up and prevents anyone from finding out what's at the bottom. This diagram speculates how the flood tunnels caused the pit to flood. System and another wall, which would prevent anyone from finding whatever lies at the bottom. Still, wouldn't it be funny if they found what was down there and just a note that said, hey, look. Number 4, Vietnam war traps. The Vietnam War was a horrible affair that saw thousands of lives being taken. Being such a violent conflict, numerous improvised weapons were created to cause fear and uncertainty within the enemy. One such trap was the flag.
That bitch said, hey.
They would attach a grenade to the flagpole. The grenade fastened on the floor and press it down.
He said, did you need me?
They pulled the pin out of the grenade. It's simple and was
Funny, my bottom kids, everything.
famous and destructive trap in the Vietnam War is the punji trap. Basically, they would dig out a hole, fill it with sharp bamboo spikes, and then cover it with camouflage natural undergrowth, like grass. American victims would step into the trap and be impaled. If they weren't killed, they'd be seriously wounded or die from infections, as the spikes were often deliberately covered in food. They were so
You need to make a video.
bullets. Americans
during the Vietnam War were just as smart with their traps.
Yeah, I think I already got the video on the
Apparently, technicians knew their evil adversaries were heavily reliant on salvage.
I like his song Boomerang. That's my song.
Partially disassembled them and reassembled them with explosives. This included machine gun rounds and mortar shells. Green Berets then
It is not no video to Boomerang.
spiking cases and magazines.
What's his name?
When used, pieces of the AK-47 would typically be projected backward into the head of the individual firing the rifle, and often more than one person was killed when team-fired machine guns were used. Not only did it kill off the enemy, it caused them to question the safety of their ordnance and generated mistrust between Vietnam troops and Chinese suppliers. Sadly, this trick is still being used today.
Why he ain't got no video out for it? Oh, I can't believe he lost his brother. Of course.
Which is a highly complex structure. Going with booby traps to stop people from stealing your rotten body. One of the coolest such burials is that of ancient Chinese emperor.
Not only did he construct the terracotta army,
Why you still playing? Why you got something still on when you're not playing the game? Boom, 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 boom. Don't stop. No.
Jakari, his pants just be too tight.
If you want to learn more about the game, there'll be a link in the top of the description. Be sure to click that and go on over and check it out. What's up, everybody? Cartoons
What's up,
here.
everybody? Delirious is here.
And me and Delirious are sitting here looking over this beautiful, beautiful landscape.
It's very beautiful. Look at it.
Delirious,
Mountains,
I appreciate you meeting me out here for our first date.
the snow, mountains.
Look,
We have
and
lived steep
That's
together.
right.
That's
We
right.
are. And this.
That's right. Okay.
Here you go. Now watch this. You ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah, what do you do?
Bam!
Oh!
Huh?
Oh my God!
How you
Is
like
that how
me?
you looking? Is
How
that
you like my fox hat? Huh? You like my fox hat?
You look good. Here, hold on. What's it? LB to camera. Let me zoom in on your damn face.
Oh, you
Oh,
want
I
to see?
fucking love it, cartoon.
Oh, is it beautiful?
Oh, fucking yeah. Fucking out there. I want to show you. my
I couldn't afford pants. I couldn't afford pants. So these are just some, they don't match. They don't match.
Hold on. Let me show you my costume. I mean my thing.
I'm zoomed in on you.
All right. You zoomed in. You ready? Ready for it?
You're very blurry. Okay, there you
Here
go.
we go.
There you
Here we go.
Uh-huh.
All right. On the count of three, here we go. So which one? Do I go to the board or?
Whichever.
Yeah, I go to my board. There we go.
What the fuck? Hilarious! I gotta come report in the absolute fuck.
I'm ready to do James cartoons. I'm ready for snowboarding. Look at my face.
I was not ready for that. I was absolutely not ready for that.
Which way to mountain?
Do you know how to ski, Mr. Draft?
I've never skied before.
Look at your stupid ass face.
So we're gonna. What? What did you say to me? What did you say? All right, where are we going? Where's the objective here?
Before we go, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why is this man eating your ass? Woo! There's a man eating your fucking giraffe ass right here.
His name is Wu. He's cleaning.
I am.
He's the zookeeper. Okay.
Okay. He's cleaning
Right,
out.
the
He's cleaning out your
zookeeper
cage.
is right here. He's just making sure I'm healthy enough to go down the hill.
It's a friendly competition. Every
Yeah,
time you smack me, you son of a bitch.
I'm a friendly giraffe. I'm a damn friendly giraffe.
All right, I'm damn going backwards. I'm damn going backwards. I'm damn going backwards.
I've already crashed.
Oh, I did a double flip.
It's not good.
Oh, God.
Who the hell is that? That's you. Get the fuck out. Ow!
So far, we're starting out amazing.
So far, I have 0 points, and it's absolutely amazing. then squeaking your way down. I'm in a cavern. I'm a damn cavern. I can't make it. Shit.
God!
Shit. I gotta restart. Damn it!
You can't restart. Come on.
What are you talking about? All right, I'm going down the mountain. 5,000 points. We gotta go.
You restarted, didn't you, you damn
We gotta
bitch?
fucking go. We gotta fucking go. What the fuck? There we go. Oh, no.
Land it, please.
Oh, yes. I crashed. The lyrics crashed.
No!
Crashed.
No! Get your stamina back!
No.
God,
I
you
got
fuck.
I got 2,800 points. 2,800 points to drop down. Drop down. Get up. Get up. Get up. Quit squeaking. Squeaking. All right, here we go.
Okay, we got it landed. Okay,
One more.
okay, that's
One
okay.
more.
That's okay. We'll take that one.
Take that right on your booty. Right on. Oh,
Double
nice.
backflip.
Hit the down. What? Come on. Come on. I'm squeaking all down that damn mountain. This ain't good footage. Damn it.
Oh.
Come on.
Come on, land it.
That's what I'm fucking talking about.
Oh,
And now I'm
pass the
crashing
trees,
down the
pass
mountain
the
again.
trees,
I'm crashing
pass the trees.
goddamn mountain.
Fuck!
Why is this shit so long?
Oh.
Why? I'm stuck. I can't move. Fuck.
Go!
Sorry.
Shit, you bitch!
I'm stuck. There was nowhere I could go. I fell in that fucking hole.
Okay, I'm doing backflip still.
Oh,
Twirls.
holy shit! I didn't know it was that far.
Well, I'm not gonna lie.
Are you stuck?
I'm at the end, but I didn't hit the start.
783.
I'm restarting. Fuck
Here
you.
we go.
Fuck
Here we go.
you.
You're restarting? Okay.
I'm pretty sure I missed the start again. God damn it!
Hit some shit.
No, you son of a bitch! No! How many points did you have?
What you say? Go to?
Like 10,849.
No, you beat me!
You said tonight, round?
Jaeger.
I did 10,436. Get shit. You wanna try again?
Alright, let's go, motherfucker.
I'll try again. First off, I'm getting gold.
Neither
and you ain't shit.
one of us got gold.
Sanaya Brown.
Me.
Who's gonna get gold first?
Me. I'm talking about
100 points right there.
I'm talking about
100 points right there. Let's go.
Don't die.
Come on, just land. There we go.
Oh, you fucked
Sanaya Brown.
Land it.
Spin everything.
Oh, you beautiful fucking bitch.
I gotta restart.
They're not even spelling her name right.
I don't know. I haven't mama said fuck no.
I know, I seen that video.
Giraffe. Alright, come on. I'm right behind the cartoon.
I remember her dad about her phone. She kept on blowing up grandma phone. Grandma blocked her.
Fuck, I missed this one. This is the one where you gotta go at points.
Fuck it. Alright, come on. First to 20. First to 20. I mean, first to go. What am I talking about?
What? What does that even mean? Fuck no!
No! Giraffe move.
No, you fucking son of a... That was not hard, you fuck! See, you fucking weak ankle son of a bitch! Oh my god! Delirious! Oh my fucking god!
You say you got 5 subscribers?
Everything that we've done was worth what just happened.
I know, I keep passing by green tea. Oh, did you see the one where she had her hair done and that shirt hanging off? It got 8 subscribers. Nah, it's not.
Right here. Do a little something.
Do a snaggerpuss.
Land that shit on
Do a snaggerpuss.
Watch this shit.
Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god.
Now you look at me.
Holy shit. Oh, that was so fucking amazing. Landed it. Wow.
She looked terrible.
You can wreck there. You deserve it. Alright, you're right. Come up here. We're gonna fly down this mountain. Right?
And the one you watching, I don't even see it.
Back to character. Go back to character.
You ready?
Oh, I found it. And she got a video of me laying on the bed with my hair looking hot.
Go! Go! You can't catch me to there.
Oh my God, I was.
I'm in front of you. What are you talking about? You can't go.
That is.
Oh, you got going low. I'm going low, bitch.
What in the
You
world?
can't catch me.
Why am I looking at a pizza today? I don't like pizza. She got 91 views though.
Follow me this side. Follow me. I got an idea.
Follow. You gotta scout out the squirrelish home. Where are you going?
She looked at a hot mess.
Oh, fuck. I think we can go through the top one. Restart. We can go through the top one.
Alright, here we go. Oh, I see it.
Tiny little top
I see the target.
I see it. She look a hot mess. She done posted so many videos on her.
Come left. Now that way.
She gonna put her booty up.
Okay, I'm trying to make it through my
She gonna get her.
Make it through the home. Can you make it through the home?
She dipped up with her booty. She dipped up with her booty. That's what she did. She's so bad.
Okay, left and then the righty. The righty, right? Yeah. Be careful. Oh, I see it. I see the green. I see it.
She already seen it.
I see it back there.
Oh God, I see a red thing I'm trying to go
You see
through.
the tube? Yeah, the tube, yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's
Malaya Thomas.
Can you make it through the tube?
Fucking almost did it. Go.
Alright, that's where we're going. We're going through three things and then to the tube. Alright, I'm right behind you.
Okay.
Alright, yeah.
Restart.
Alright, there we go. I'm right behind you. Flying squirrel specialist right here.
Hard left.
There we go. Hard left. The hardest of left.
And then we drop down.
Ultimate dive.
Alright. You stay low, you ain't gotta get low. You stay low, you ain't gotta get low. If you stay low, you ain't gotta get low.
Honey Lightning finally got a new house. This house is way better.
I'm practicing for you. I'm going.
Funny Lightning?
Come on, you can make it, cartoons to believe.
I ain't never seen it. I ain't seen it.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, we're like holding hands. We're holding hands right there, man.
Okay.
Oh, they're behind me this time, right? Yeah.
I know what Funny Lightning is.
Oh, you're in front of me now. You're in front of me. You're a damn champion.
They live in
You're a
Houston.
damn champion.
I'm a champion.
No.
You are a damn champion. You're a damn...
They live in Houston, Texas. Nick and King live in Houston, Texas too. Yep.
Three, two,
That was
go.
so close.
Fuck yeah, it was.
You know, that one is going to be really hard, man. It's going to be really hard to get through that. Yep. We have to pull like straight up and right.
Yes.
We got this one down.
Yeah, that was it.
Shit.
Right here.
Shit. Right here. That.
Oh, this is so fucking fun.
This is so beautiful. Subscribers, like if we make this shit, please.
IG always making songs. Like, what is his problem?
I got it.
RG.
You're professional, man.
Did you get it?
No.
So I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna left a little bit.
He got a diss track on YRN DJ diss track. Official music video. Why he made a diss track on that boy? Like, he beats bitch.
That was Rolex, man. I got hard. Rolex just went right by, man.
Everybody is that cool but him. He doing too much. And what happened? Because I showed him watch the video what happened about them. I ain't feel like watching all that stuff.
Dive. Flying squirrel. This is the only way we're going to be accepted into the flying squirrel squad.
Yes. We have to prove ourselves.
We have to prove.
Look, he made a video. I'm gonna. Oh, it's called Rat. He called on YRN DJ a rat.
Don't hit the tree. This is going to be extremely hard to get through.
I honestly don't know if we can.
I gotta listen to the song.
gonna be the perfect angle. We're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. Okay. All right.
You're not behind
I'm
me?
right behind you.
Okay, okay.
No, I didn't start when you did. I didn't start when you did, but I'm right behind you, man. I'm 160 meters away.
Oh, that's fine.
160 meters away.
You can still,
Okay. I'm screwing up a little bit. If I make it through the fucking gap, I am truly amazing. I'm amazing girl. Oh, man!
Oh, RG.
Come on. We'll get through it, man.
He's scared. He ain't even drop down the west.
Let's go.
He ain't even at least drop down the lyrics or
That
nothing.
hard last time. You know what I'm saying? Okay. We're sitting here making fucking challenges for us.
This is a
If we
dope
make it
challenge.
through here,
We should make it a
listen,
challenge.
if we make it through, we can. Come on. Yeah. We can call it the delirious challenge.
He really wild for that, cause everybody was lyric. Everybody back to cool besides him.
Damn it! My dick has been touched.
I just have to keep trying for science.
Go ahead.
Keep trying. No, our new objective. First one through the fucking donut. First one through the damn donut. Alright? Under the woods and through the house, the Delirious' house we go.
And he only not cool with YNR and BJ. He cool with See No Limit and BJ. He wild. He ain't even dropped the lyrics or nothing down. He just got a video of it.
What is trying?
YR and DJ this chat. Why not and DJ? He is kind of nasty. I ain't even tell. He the dirtiest YouTuber I ever known.
Oh, okay. Alright, this is it.
I don't believe. You did it! Oh my God!
I ain't really never watched like that. RG, he was ugly. And RG, JJ, RG be having too many girls on his YouTube. That he playing girlfriend. It don't make no sense.
I gotta make this a challenge. How do I make this a challenge?
See No Limit girl, cute.
Right in that fucking shit.
Okay, here we go. Alright, I'm doing this, cartoon. I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for the few. I'm doing it for people. I'm doing it for everybody. I'm doing it for life. I'm doing it for subscriber kind.
You so fat, boy, talk. Stop eating.
Get it, a new there. Oh, man, it starts further down.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it starts right here. We just got flies out there. Right, I can't.
Did I do it?
Yes, 49 seconds. I'll challenge. I'm gonna beat your fucking record. This is the cartoon challenge, and I have to beat his challenge.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did name it after whoever did it first. Okay.
What? We'll go through it. We'll go through it. We gotta go. Come on. Reed! Fuck you, Reed! Come on. I got this. You have it? I want to do it together. That would be...
Fuck, I always had it again, dude.
Come on. It's alright. I believe in you, man. You can do it again.
I can't do it again. That's what's pissing me off.
I did it, though. Well, I gotta beat the
bitch! Yes!
Beat your score. Come on. Beat your
I'm
timing.
gonna beat my meat. That was awesome.
What?
Fuck you, me! Fuck you, me!
Now we're going like a damn champion.
Oh, I beat it! I beat it!
I
beat the fucking score!
Alright, Cartoon, show me the path, the secret path.
I can show you the path.
Show me the world.
Take a left and then go down.
Through the sleeping willows, and we go through a fight with our testicles. I don't know what I'm saying, cause I'm trying to concentrate going through here and I made it.
Good job.
I'm right behind
shut up,
you,
shut
Cartoon.
up. Focus.
Okay.
Good luck.
Oh, the world!
I'm making it!
Oh!
Yes!
I hit my knee! Oh, no. Oh, We're gonna make it to there. We just made it. Our singing is beautiful.
It is. It's fucking beautiful.
We might be off key, but that's your ears and all that.
Yeah, go get your ears too, bitches.
Yeah. Go get your damn ear checked. Go down
Through the hole.
Through the hole.
Alright, stay
Cross
high.
the river.
Stay high.
The cartoon house we go.
Alright, flip that.
Alright. Focus mode.
Alright, ready? Ready? This is it. I'm going through.
Ready? Hey, tree! Flying together.
Now that we're way up here, we're acting weird.
Down. We're going faster. We're going through the
Bounce on it.
together.
Ready? Let's go through the hole together.
Oh, we made it right through the
It was. Take this
I never thought you would take me here.
Over here.
I think he gonna lose all his subscribers.